On today's episode of Touch 'em All Sports Radio, we talk the Olympics, NASCAR, the NBA All-Star Game, and it's not a sports show if we don't talk about LeBron. Today is February 19th, 2018. Ethan, can you believe that it is – February is almost over.
Yeah, it's going by fast.
It's going by really fast. Like I said, we're going to talk about the Olympics. Let's go ahead and talk about the medal counts. Ethan, we've done this periodically throughout the show while the Winter Olympics have been in effect or taking place. We've seen some people take the lead, lose the lead. Who do you think is in first right now with total medals?
You know, I've said USA every time, but I'm going to change it up. I'm going to say Egypt.
Egypt? Do they even compete in the Olympics?
I don't think so.
Especially
I don't think there's snow in Egypt.
Well, there's no snow.
Ever.
There's no snow in Jamaica, but
there's still the Jamaican bobsled team.
There's still a Jamaican bobsled team. I'm looking to see if Egypt even competes in the Winter Olympics. Uzbekistan does, but no, you're wrong. Norway is in first place right now with 28 total medals, 11 gold medals, 9 silver, 8 bronze. Following them is Germany with 20 total medals. Canada in third, the Netherlands in fourth. The Olympic athletes from Russia are in fifth, and guess who's in sixth? USA. 10 total medals, 5 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze. The Olympics are still going on. I think the bobsled starts tonight. I watched the relay ski over the weekend, which was different. I watched the freestyle ski stuff. I don't really understand it.
They went backwards a lot.
A lot of them look the same.
Yeah.
A lot of the events look the same.
And I watched the one where they rode down the hill really fast, and then they saw how far they could float.
Yeah, the long jump,
high jump,
whatever.
It was interesting to watch because they all looked really weird.
Yeah. And something we could talk about, the United States and Canada are in a gold medal match for women's hockey. They'll play each other in the gold medal match in women's hockey. Up until like a week and a half ago, I didn't know women's hockey was a thing.
I'm learning as we speak.
But hey, hats off to the United States women hockey team. That's cool, right?
I wonder if there's as many fights in women's hockey as there is in male hockey.
That's a good question.
Because hockey's a very
physical
sport. Aggressive sport.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder.
Hey, we're gonna watch it.
We should watch I'm
gonna go home and go on YouTube and look at
women's hockey
fights. So like I said, Norway in the lead, 28 medals. And then let's talk about the Daytona 500, Ethan. Did you watch the Daytona 500?
I watched maybe a total of 15 seconds of it.
Well,
I'm not the biggest fan of NASCAR.
Well, and
I find it interesting
because
they go really fast, but at the same time they're going fast with all kinds of other people out there, but they're still just doing the same thing for hours. They're just turning here, turn there, go drift this guy, watch out for that wreck here. I don't define it as much of a sport as just a talent. I don't know. I'm trying to say I don't think there's no athletic ability in NASCAR. It takes a lot of reflexes and knowledge of what you're supposed to do, but I don't believe it's should be considered a sport to say.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. Pardon my take. Denny Hamlin was on it, and Denny Hamlin made a comment. He said that NASCAR drivers are some of the most their endurance is insane.
But yeah, they drive for hours.
Yeah,
hours. And they can't go to the bathroom. If they do, they just do it on themselves.
Yeah, and
they got to watch out for a wreck here, watch out for a wreck there. They can't just get distracted by the road.
And a thing that Denny Hamlin said that struck me was, I like, wow, that's he said that he can go out and he can match like Tiger Woods or Bubba Watson shot for shot on a golf course. But Tiger Woods cannot drive a car like he can. Because they sit in that car for 4 hours, and you're scrunched up, and it's hot in there, and you're in a fire suit, which is not,
It's gotta be pretty hot.
It's not pretty. It's not cool. And you got to sit there scrunched up for 4 hours, 500 miles, so many laps. I think hats off to NASCAR drivers.
What they do is great in its own terms, but I don't think. I mean, if you sat there and just. Well, obviously, you got to be a good driver to start with. Yeah. You got to know what you're doing.
You got to learn how to drive
if you just sit there and learn, how hard could it be? Is what I'm saying.
Well, and that's a good question. A motorsport is different from other sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's still.
But what it takes for that sport, for what they do, is a whole lot different from what you do in other areas.
Well, to me, yeah. I mean, but it's different classifications of sports.
And honestly, now I'm sitting here thinking about it, I don't know of a single obese NASCAR driver.
There's not. Because they sweat so much, and yeah, think about it. They have to train just as much, if more, and they do that every week. Climb into a 200-mile-an-hour car with no traction on the tires, and it's 100 degrees in there, and it's hard. It's hard, yeah. Hats off. But the Daytona 500, I watched it yesterday. I didn't really watch a lot of it. I mean, I watched like the last 100 laps, which is all that people really care about, I feel like.
I prefer to watch the last 3.
There was a guy, Eric Almirola, I think that's his name, Almirola. He was leading, and then he spun out, and it was like a scene out of a movie. There was smoke, and through the smoke came Austin Dillon, and he won the race. If you're not familiar with Austin Dillon, he drives the number 3 car. If you're not familiar with NASCAR, the last person to drive the number 3 car, Ethan, you know who that was?
Dale Sr.
Dale Earnhardt Sr., yeah. And a funny thing about it is this was the 60th Daytona 500. 20 years ago, Dale Earnhardt won the Daytona 500 in 1998. So Dale won the 40th Daytona 500 in his number 3 car, and then 20 years later, Austin Dillon wins the 60th in his number 3 car. I just thought that was neat. It's just, and there's a whole another backstory to it. But let's talk about the NBA All-Star game. Ethan, did you watch the NBA All-Star game?
No, I watched a couple of the highlights though. Saw a little bit of what happened.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't care about the NBA All-Star game. I really don't. I'm an NBA fan, but I just don't care. There's nothing riding on it. There's no. The winners don't really get anything. Besides, they can tweet and say that they're better than their friends or whatever. I just don't. I'm not a big NBA All-Star fan. That's just me. I heard it was a good game. I didn't watch a bit of it. I heard it was a good game though. Came like the last 5 minutes was really competitive between LeBron and all those guys, and cool, good for them. I did watch the dunk contest though. Did you watch the dunk contest?
I caught more of the 3-point contest than I did the dunk contest. But from what I did watch, it was all right. I saw a couple tweets saying that one of the guys was robbed of the victory. I don't know what that was about.
For the dunk contest?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't remember the names, but the guy from the Cavs, I think, is Larry Nance Jr., and then Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was the guy that won. Larry Nance Jr. didn't get a second shot, didn't get a second dunk, but it is what it is. Nothing. They don't get anything out of that. There's no compensation for that, no consolation, nothing. It's just for fun. It's like the home run derby in baseball. In the All-Star game. And the All-Star game in the MLB's lost its meaning. You don't play for home field advantage in the World Series anymore. So maybe the MLB will change their format. I hope not. I don't really like that format. Maybe for the NBA. Maybe it works for the NBA, but MLB, I don't think so. What do you think?
I could see. Oh, no. You're talking about the whole format where they pick 2 captains, they pick their players.
Yeah, no matter what
I feel like
conference you're in.
That'd be a great idea, honestly, just because, if you're picking players, you got to be very, very selective of what position you get when. Mm-hmm. It's like, imagine being in a fantasy draft while you're playing MLB The Show or another MLB video game, and you got to sit there and wonder, what do you want to get? Do you want to get this pitcher? Do you want to get Clayton Kershaw? Do you want to get Max Scherzer? And you have the opportunity to pick your teams as opposed to them being voted on. What kind of game could that be, you know? It showed a lot of the players seeing what they think.
Yeah. But I think I saw some tweets, and there was a lot of positive feedback for the new format of the NBA All-Star Game. A lot fans like it, so that's true, real NBA fans like it apparently, and I reckon that's all that matters. I do wish they changed the uniforms a little bit. They're very bland
For the MLB All-Star Game?
for the NBA.
Yeah, they've had some good ones in the past. I didn't really get a chance to look. No, I didn't get a chance to look at the jerseys this game.
The NBA All-Star jerseys this year, they were black. If you were on Team LeBron, your jersey was white, and it had your team logo in black and white on the front. If you were on Team Steph, it was black with your team logo in black and white. Very bland, but I guess it got the point across nonetheless. Maybe things will be different in Charlotte. Charlotte 2019 will be the All-Star Game. Since we're talking about LeBron and we run a sports show, it's only natural that we talk about, is LeBron going to move and go somewhere?
It's a fantastic question. Why not? Why does he want to stay? What's the pros and cons of staying? What's the pros and cons of moving?
Pros. He gets to stay and be the GM and do whatever he wants in Cleveland. He's got like that hometown kid thing in Cleveland. He can do pretty much whatever he wants. Cons, I feel like the talent in Cleveland is on the downslide, maybe. Pros to going somewhere else. It's a new atmosphere, a new chance to meet new people and do new stuff. I just don't really know, and I'm sick of hearing about LeBron, which I know if in the sports media world, we've got nothing else to talk about but LeBron some days, like today. Today's a very slow sports day, I feel like.
Very, very slow.
But we're talking about hypothetical moves for LeBron. Where does he go?
I just hope he does not go to Golden State. There's a couple rumors saying he might end up there, and I would hate every second of any NBA game if I knew that team was put together.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. Well, maybe it does. I don't know, but I feel like LeBron's reputation would be tarnished if he went there. Might go to Oklahoma City, maybe. He's not going to go to Boston. I don't think Boston wants him. I've heard the rumors of San Antonio with the Spurs.
Just imagine Kawhi and LeBron together on the same team.
That'd be good, right? For the game, I guess. I don't know. But if we went to Golden State, maybe Steve Kerr would actually let him put on a suit and coach, because Steve Kerr let the players coach the other night.
Which I think was a far better choice than allowing himself to coach.
We know how you feel about that. Like we said, today's a very slow sports day. We could talk about the NFL draft, but that's that's far away, but it's not too far away. The NBA All-Star Game was last night. We could talk about we talked about the Daytona 500. We could talk about NFL free agency, maybe. What teams should look for in the draft. What else is there out there to talk about, Ethan? This is why we want people to tweet. We want to hear your opinions. The Olympics are still going on. I'm out of stuff to talk about. What about you?
I like the idea of going in and talking about the NFL draft.
No, we can talk about that next episode. We're literally planning our next episode right now. That's how slow of a sports time it is right now. Baseball.
Baseball started, but it's spring training, so what's to really talk about?
It's practice.
NFL just ended. College football isn't here. Hockey is.
Well, hey, go Preds. Go Preds. Hockey. We can talk about something about hockey. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, the NHL's newest team, they're at the top of the world right now. They have got the best record, and they're the number 1 seed in the West. How about that? First-year expansion team dominating. Do you know how an expansion draft works?
I do not.
Okay, if you bring in a new team, say, okay, like with the NHL, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights, they had an expansion draft where every NHL team got to like protect a certain amount of players, and every player that they did not protect was eligible for the expansion draft. So Las Vegas went through and picked out all these good players from all these teams, and they've assembled quite the squad. But yeah, that's hockey. We've talked about hockey today.
Any cricket matches going on?
I don't think so. Maybe like in between the Winter Olympics or something. But the USA gold medal hockey match tonight. Not a whole lot's going on besides the Olympics, and we've covered the Olympics to the best of our knowledge. We could probably it wouldn't hurt us to do a little bit more research, but I mean, it's snow, ice, skis, jump,
run, slide,
duck, dive.
Just go out in
dip,
your yard
dodge.
and find as much as you can, and just pretend there's snow there, and you're competing.
Yeah. But moving forward to our next episode, we could talk about the NHL draft. We want to hear what you guys have to say. Tweet at the show, at TEA Radio SU, hashtag Hot Tea Take, which brings us to Hot Take Showdown. Ethan, what you got? I don't have a whole lot.
You go ahead and go first then with what you have.
Give me some time to formulate. Ethan, fill us in with something. Give us a fun fact from today.
You want a fun fact or a hot take?
I want a fun fact. Like, give me a fun fact of something while I formulate a hot take.
You said something before that made me think of something else. Goodness.
I had something. I was laying.
Yeah,
I had a hot
saw
take
something on Twitter.
I'm very ill prepared for this today.
For the hot takes?
For the hot takes, I had something. I don't know where it went. Hey, college football starting their spring practices.
Already? Wow,
Yeah.
that's coming up fast.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. We'll talk about college football. Jim McElwain, Jim McElwain, former Florida Gators head coach, signed on with the Michigan football staff today under Jim Harbaugh, which is funny because Florida played Michigan twice under McElwain and was never able to beat them. So I guess if you can't beat them, join them.
Worked for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but I think that really shows the state of the Michigan football program right now, to where you hired Jim McElwain. He turned Florida into a dumpster fire, and Jim Harbaugh says, "Hey, yeah, come join my staff." So my hot take is that the University of Michigan football they go downhill like a downhill ski slope in the Winter Olympics.
Well, maybe he does better with more of an assistant role than a head coach role, because obviously he failed at that position.
Yeah.
So maybe now he has less power to mess things up. He does a better job.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Do you have a hot take?
I think that the Cleveland Browns come out with a surprise selection with their 4th pick. I think the first pick will be one that's expected, either quarterback, maybe Saquon Barkley. But the 4th overall pick they got from, I believe, I've been the Texans, possibly. I don't know why the Texans had that high of a pick. Who was it?
Dang it.
I feel like it was a Texas team for some reason. I don't know why.
No, I don't know. But I know what you're talking about.
They have a 4th overall pick, and I believe they use that, and they take someone that is unexpected, for that position.
Maybe.
That's my hot take.
Another hot take that I have: the Atlanta Braves are this year's sleeper team. They've got some guys that are getting developed, that developed last year, really, with some time and experience in the MLB, and they've got the right coaching staff. They just need to add some big pieces here and there. Not some big pieces, but just some pieces here and there. And I think they're right in it, looking at a wild card spot. That's my hot take. Ethan, any more before we sign off?
I don't have much anymore, but I do agree with what you're saying about the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
They have a fantastic shot. They have a very young team. They're doing a great job rebuilding, even if they're not going out and making any big acquisitions.
Yeah, and look at the division they're in, too. Yeah, we talked about Todd Frazier being on the Mets the other day, and it strengthened the toughness of the NL East, but does it really? Looking at the Mets and the way that they've went about their business, I retract that. That was a cold take. I don't think that the NL East is any tougher. If anything, it's stagnant. But the Braves are heating up. Phillies are also heating up too. They added
And this year,
Santana.
The Marlins.
Marlins are
awful.
Marlins are a dumpster fire.
They just got rid of. They told Giancarlo Stanton and Christian Yelich to leave while you can.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire, and I feel bad. I feel bad for the people of Miami, the city, because they just, they deserve something. They deserve a good sports team. You got the Dolphins, the Heat, and the Marlins.
Well, is that worse than the Braves, the Falcons, and the Hawks?
Yes, and it's definitely worse than the Cavs, the Browns, and the Indians.
The Browns, man, they just need to go somewhere else.
The Browns, like you could have the Patriots and the Warriors in your city. No, you could have like the Astros, the Dodgers, and the Warriors in your city as your baseball teams. But then you have the Browns as your football team, and it's like, oh, are they really a sports city? Because the Browns are just
they're terrible.
They're a leech, a life-sucking leech, if you will. That's all I've got for today, Ethan. You got any final closing statements?
I believe I am all out. Hopefully something cool, something interesting happens by Wednesday. Otherwise, I don't know what we'll talk about.
Yeah, for sure not. So looking forward, looking to the future. We have Wednesday, and then on the 27th, Ethan, which is a Tuesday, we'll have a live studio audience. It'll be Professor Jones's radio production class. They'll be in here live in studio taking a listen. We'll have them on the mics, and we'll see what they've got to say. I'm really looking forward to that. But as far as guests goes, we're in talks with some people. But tweet us. We want to hear what you have to say at TEA Radio SU #HotTTake. Follow us on Instagram, Touch 'em All Sports Radio. I'm Justin Franklin.
I'm Ethan Payne.
And hopefully we'll have more for you next time. See you later.